All right, Vince, thanks. So that's the update on Tony Stewart in 21st spot. Right behind him, Carl Edwards in 22nd. On a caution flag pit stop earlier, had to replace the end plate on their back wing on the left side of that car.
Yeah, it's a key thing. If they don't have that end plate, NASCAR pulls them in. They got to have it on the race. And Edwards took the time to fix it. Now that put him in the back of the field. And that put him, he's way behind right now. He's running 22nd, like you said. Marks his way to the front, but his lap times are about 0.4 of a second slower than our leader, Kurt Busch. So they got to work hard to get this car handling better.
So that's some of the championship chasers that are struggling. Meantime, you saw Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 take third place away from Kyle Busch. And meanwhile, in front of him, Jimmie Johnson continuing to close on Kurt Busch for the #1 spot. So that's what's going on for now from the pit studio. Let's go back upstairs to Dr. Jerry Punch, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
Thank you, guys. There comes the 5-car Mark Martin, and behind him the 24-car of Jeff Gordon. Dave.
He's lost 2 positions since the restart, Doc, and not happy about his race car. Listen.
Wow. Jesus, that's so good. I'm on ice. Everybody else is out here on rails. I'm just completely sideways. Simple, but simple. Keep doing the best you can. We got a long time. We'll tighten it up next stop.
Sorry about that, Steve. I don't know about everybody else being on rails, but Jeff certainly right now not happy with that car all over the place, but still in the top 5. Or actually 6 now.
Yeah, I think they're going to continue to probably chase this racetrack throughout the day as you get more rubber down on the racetrack. The sun's beating down. Things are heating up a little bit. So I think their work is going to continue quite a bit on this car.
Yeah, I see this track really getting dark. I'm not so sure that we won't see that to be actually a problem of rubber buildup on the racetrack. You see just how much black there is there. This track is really laying down the rubber. That's the beginning of the race. You can see on the left, and then you see it now.
Yeah, and that doesn't equate to more grip for these cars. Actually, as that rubber builds up, it creates problems in trying to get these tires to grip. So they have to do things. That's why they continue to do air pressure, track bar things to create grip for yourself.
See the 9-car there, Casey Kane. He had troubles in their pit stop, and they lost 4 positions on pit road. He's now making his way back in toward the top 5. He's currently being shown in 7th position. Vince.
Well, and Casey Kane admonished his crew after that pit stop. He said, come on, guys, we got to be better when we come in. Track position is so critical out on the track. You can't give up spots in pit lane. They came right back on the radio and said, that won't happen again, Casey. Start digging. The car is much better. He's one earlier that said, as Andy mentioned, it felt like the car was on 4 basketballs instead of tires, but the car is better since they came in and got 4 fresh Goodyears, and Kane is putting the pressure on Gordon and trying to work his way back into the top 5. Remember, he had been in the top 5 early in the race, running solid, and then dipped down into about the 10 through 15 range, looking much better like he had a car earlier in the race, Doc.
So he moves in on the 24-car, and we'll show you what happened to the 9-car on pit road and the frustration of Casey Kane.
Casey Kane has that first pit stall coming on pit road. Got a good shot here of the right side tire change from the rear, and they're having a hard time getting that right rear off. That's what cost them the time. Cost them quite a few seconds there.
Definitely come off a lot easier when you got all the lug nuts off, right, Andy?
Yep, I always said that's the cardinal rule right there. You have to make sure you get them all off the first time. So you don't, it takes forever to come back and get that lug nut.
So Casey Kane making a comeback. We do want to mention, by the way, the 1-car, Martin Truex Jr., back on the racetrack. He is being shown 86 laps down. But Truex from nearby Mayetta, New Jersey, a lot of people coming to watch him race, involved in that violent 4-car crash on lap 32. He's back on the track. Our leader is Kurt Busch, 122 laps in the books. You're watching NASCAR Sprint Cup Series presented by Burger King. Now Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Our current top 3 in points, well, our points leader is the 5-car. That is Mark Martin. Coming in second as the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. And now Kurt Busch has gained a couple of positions as of right now. He's our leader at the race. He is in 3rd. You see he's 25 points back. And the top speed of the day is 172 miles an hour. That was recorded by Ryan Newman entering the corner. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. That 9 car is on the move. He's now been able to go by the struggling 24 of Jeff Gordon to take the 6th spot away.
They worked on Jeff for a few laps. He ran up on his bumper, looked like he was going to get by him, and then it's like he lost the nose for a few laps and fell back about 3 or 4 car lengths, but was able to make another run and get by Jeff this time.
Back up front, the 48 beginning to inch in a little bit. Now 8 of the top 10 cars right now in the race are chase contenders. The only 2 that aren't in the chase are the 4th place car of Kyle Busch and the 9th of Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, really watching Jimmy Johnson search around on this racetrack. He's been to the middle of the racetrack, up to the upper side of the racetrack, trying to find out what could be fast enough to get him to Kurt Busch's bumper. I think he's working on it now.
He has inched his way up there, and now Kurt Busch has caught some traffic. This might be a good time for Jimmy to take advantage of it.
Yeah, just watching this, looks like the 2 cars gotten a little bit tight on the exit of the corner. Jimmy Johnson's getting a really good run off the corner. The 2's pretty much stayed married to that bottom part of the racetrack. Jimmy's been searching, and I think it's working for him.
Check out Montoya. He's catching these 2 cars up front also. And he's running up on the racetrack. You can see there, he's not running right on the bottom through the middle of the corner.
I think that's what one thing's impressive about Montoya, too. No longer than he's been in this series, he's really good at searching around the racetrack and finding where his car is the best also. He's not afraid to change his line a little bit, make his car go faster. Shannon?
And the crew's not afraid to work on that car. They started this race with the same setup that they unloaded with this weekend, and that setup was good on a green racetrack. They knew that once the track started to rubber in, they were then going to have to chase the car all day, and that's what they're planning on doing. Brian Patty said, well, let's expect to do track bar adjustments throughout the rest of the day, because Juan Pablo says the car keeps getting tight. But guys, lap 25 in a run, that's right about the sweet spot for Juan Pablo Montoya, because that's when his car gets really fast.
And he is really fast right now, reeling in those front twosome there of Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson as Kurt was trying to get underneath the 78 car of Regan Smith. Now Johnson goes by, and Montoya is just a car length back.
It's tire buildup, like in Martinsville, like we were talking about. We're on a little different line that's helping to tight off some.
Yeah, we talked about this rubber getting laid down, and what will happen, it usually happens on the shorter tracks, but we see it happening here today, and that's a concrete surface at Martinsville also with this rubber, and it'll actually, if you get on it with the tires, it'll actually make the car skate, so you have to work around that, and you have to really be extremely careful. So that's what Jimmy Johnson was talking about and has been doing here.
And we've only run 136 laps, and so there's a lot of laps to go. And that sun being on the racetrack does seem to make that rubber build up even more. I mean, the more sun you have, the more that these tires will wear and rubber right down into the racetrack. So it could be a problem before the day's over.
And this will change throughout the day as we get to caution flags and the cars go around slower. They actually pick that rubber up, and it won't be as bad right after a restart, but then it starts to build back up and becomes a problem throughout a run.
ABC Comedy Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. It's the return of a comedy icon. Kelsey Grammer goes from businessman to family man in ABC's Hank. Series premiere Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC Comedy Wednesday. Kurt Busch, our leader up front, he is trying to hold on. Now, he had a good finish here back in May, but he has not had very good luck here over the years at Dover, Delaware. We asked him about racing luck.
I heard luck defined years ago by Richard Childress, and it's always stuck in my mind that when preparation meets opportunity, that creates a little bit of luck. And you have to have lady luck in this deal if you're going to come out on top. You see it every year, and you just get into that groove, and things come your way when you least expect it. And so that's what you have to be ready for.
He finished 5th here back in May, but guys, he's finished 20th or worse here at Dover in 4 of the last 5 races.
Yeah, Robert Yates once told me when we were running, he said, seems the harder we work, the luckier we get.
Yeah, you're right. I learned a lot about preparation at Richard Childress Racing, I can tell you that. That's one of the main things in his mind is having a car that's bulletproof. If you do that, opportunities will present themselves to get lucky.
This is race number 2 in the chase, and every position and every point is critical. Kurt Busch has already gained a couple of positions in the point standings, and you see where the 5 car is running Mark Martin, and you see the points differential. There is Kurt Busch, the leader, He is third in the point standings, only 30 points now between him and the leader, Mark Martin. Martin being shown back in 4th position on the racetrack. About a 3-second, little over a 3.3-second differential. Kurt Busch trying to hold on and finally get some good luck here at Dover International Speedway. He's our leader. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.